Have you ever felt like Alice in Wonderland, where you've chased the rabbit and fell down the rabbit hole, and your whole life is one mad tea party? I certainly have. I went this weekend on a spiritual ladies retreat, and the theme was Alice in Wonderland. It really got me to thinking. And one of the workshops was about, are you too big or are you too small? And how do you get to where you live right-sized? Well, I was thinking, yeah, man, I have, in the past felt like I was too much or that I was not enough. I'd get overexcited. I would talk too much. I would overshare. I would be too loud and I was too much. Or I would shrink myself and would stay in the background and isolate. And I was afraid of what people would think. And I wanted them to like me so bad that I would just shrink back. I felt unseen and misunderstood. And I would shrink myself. Spent a lot of my life trying to fit in between being too much or not enough. And I remember waking up one day and realizing there was a problem. There was a problem here. And it has been a process of learning how to become right-sized. I don't have to drink the poison or potion. I don't have to eat the cake and going back and forth. I can just be okay and be right-sized. And so I went through a process. I sought help, and had to go through the process of becoming right-sized. And the question they asked was, what does it feel like to be just the right size inside? And that's it. It's an inside job. And my insides were a mess. I wanted everything to look good on the outside, but on the inside, talk about a crazy tea party. Like it says in Alice in Wonderland, we are all mad here. And I certainly was. I was mad, literally. And so I started my journey 30 years ago. And today I feel like I'm right-sized. And how did I get there? I remember waking up one day. I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know exactly what my problem was. And I sought help. And through the process of counseling and then, some books and reading, I became aware of what my problem was. It was codependency. I enabled people pleasing. I tried to control others. I had, helping confused with controlling. I thought I was helping, and what I was doing was just trying to get them to do what I wanted them to do because I wasn't comfortable if they weren't. And I had to uncover that stuff. And then I had to accept that I was codependent, and I did that stuff. And gradually learn how to change it. That was a hard process, and it's taken years. That self-acceptance, yeah. Then I had to challenge my irrational beliefs and negative self-talk. I had some very skewed ideas, all or nothing thinking, which caused procrastination and perfectionism. If I couldn't be perfect, then I wouldn't do it at all. All or nothing thinking, absolute thinking. It was always or never. And, I catastrophized. I call it awfulizing everything, and I had to challenge some of that. I had to reframe how I talk to myself. I tell myself, you're fat and you're ugly and you can't do anything right. So I had to reframe that stuff into something positive. You don't stop the negative self-talk. You tape over it. with work. And then you learn how to set boundaries. I was afraid to set boundaries. If I set a boundary, it would cause conflict. And I avoided conflict at all costs. I just didn't want to get into it. It was scary to me. But boundaries define who I am. And it builds my self-worth, which is so important. Self-worth and self-confidence build your self-esteem. And a healthy self-esteem is very vital to stay right-sized. And then I had to learn how to master my emotions. They were either all over the place or frozen. And I had to learn how to respond and not react. Something would happen and I would react, driven by my feelings. And feelings aren't facts, they're just feelings. And I have to embrace them and process through them. And I have to take a time out, a pause, and then learn how to respond. Responsibility is the ability to respond. And when I can respond instead of react, it keeps my emotions intact. They don't govern. They just need to be. Seek help. I had to seek help. I hear a lot about it's a self-help program, or it's a self-help book, or it's a self-help this, and it's not. It takes people. It took people to help me, a counselor, other people in a support group, to change. I work one-on-one with women, and these are the issues I think that they struggle with the most. And when I work with them, these are the things I get them right into. Challenging their thinking. Is it negative? Do you talk to yourself bad? Where is your self-worth? How are you with boundaries? Can you manage your emotions so that it doesn't take them 30 years to get to where I am? I have a real passion for that, and that's why I do this YouTube, is to help women live their best life and have a relationship with themselves. It's very important. If you struggle with self-worth, I made a video all about that. Watch that next. All about self-worth. It's so important. And of course, to build a relationship with yourself. That's how you stay right-sized. Be you on purpose. I'm going to read this. The secret, Alice, is to surround yourself with people who make your heart smile. That's where you'll find Wonderland.